Welcome to True Lies Scandals. By now, you must have heard most of the details behind the alleged high-speed, quote-unquote, near catastrophic car chase Harry and Meghan want us to believe they were involved in, with the paparazzi fast on their tails. First of all, New York City Mayor Eric Adams doesn't really buy the Sussexes' BS about a high-speed car chase of that magnitude occurring in the busy high-traffic streets of Manhattan. And I agree, because I've experienced New York City traffic on the daily myself. Here's a clip on what the mayor said.
I would find it hard to believe that there was a 2-hour high-speed chase. I find it hard to believe.
Living in New York City, I've seen with my own eyes, day or night, how terrific is the traffic. It's terrific. The New York City Police Department also debunked the claims, saying nothing of that magnitude occurred as Harry and Meghan claimed. If anything, the ex-royal couple has blown a normal situation out of proportion. Well, what do you expect from a grandiose narcissist? Miss Markle herself, who, by the way, was smiling during what they said was a dangerous life crisis. Look, here's the photo evidence. I'm not making this up. I'll tell you why I think the situation was escalated and exaggerated by these two attention-seeking ex-royals. I'll walk you through the official statement by the couple, the official statement by the New York Police Department, eyewitnesses' recounts, and what their own taxicab driver had to say. Want to join our 500 plus subscribers? It's free. Simply click the subscribe button at the bottom right of your screen. I really appreciate your support and that of each and every person who is a part of this growing family. Now back to why I think this whole paparazzi situation was either staged or escalated by Harry and Meghan, and that there was no near catastrophic car chase. First, the official statement issued by Prince Harry. On Tuesday night, Meghan, Harry, and Meghan's mom, Doria Ragland, attended the Miss Foundation Women of Vision Awards at the Ziegfeld Ballroom in Manhattan, New York. Meghan attended to receive an award. After leaving the event, the couple was pursued by photographers and paparazzi. Wednesday morning, the couple issued a press statement via their unnamed spokesperson. Here is what the statement reads. Last night, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex and Miss Ragland were involved in a near-catastrophic car chase at the hands of a ring of highly aggressive paparazzi. This relentless pursuit, lasting over 2 hours, resulted in multiple near collisions involving other drivers on the road, pedestrians, and 2 NYPD officers. The statement continues, while being a public figure comes with a level of interest from the public, it should never come at the cost of anyone's safety. Dissemination of these images, given the ways in which they were obtained, encourages a highly intrusive practice that is dangerous to all involved. Now the NYPD statements debunking the near catastrophic car chase claims. New York Police Department spokesperson Julian Phillips indicated that paparazzi made the couple's commute, quote-unquote, challenging. He also said the police assisted Harry and Meghan's security team for a brief period. I suppose that was after they created their little chaotic situation and must have called for backup or the police intervened somehow. I'm not sure precisely how and why the cops got involved, but I do know that cops are always present all over New York City, so that would have been easy for them to spot if they recognized there was a brewing situation with Harry and Meghan's entourage. Anyway, in a statement, Phillips confirmed on behalf of the NYPD that, and I quote, There were numerous photographers that made their transport challenging. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex arrived at their destination, and there were no reported collisions, summonses, injuries, or arrests in regard. Now, for the witness statements. They could have gone about their business, Harry and Meghan, in the vehicle that was transporting them before they began car hopping. It's the view of many people that the couple may have decided to play cat and mouse with the paparazzi, to escalate the situation for it to appear dangerous. If that is true, that is dangerous thinking. In fact, a photographer at the scene told news outlets, including ITV, that the couple were the ones who were causing chaos in their attempt to escape from the paparazzi. And how many paparazzi do you think I'm talking about? Based on statements from the NYPD, there were only 4. Did you hear that? Only 4 photographers were following Harry and Meghan, not chasing them down, following them to get pictures. That's normal for public figures, innit? 3 of the photographers were in vehicles and 1 was on a bicycle. Tell me, how can a paparazzi on a bicycle engage in a high-speed 80-mile-per-hour car chase, as their spokesperson Omid Scobie said in an interview? How can a person on a bicycle, a paparazzi, engage in a high-speed car chase of that speed with Harry and Meghan's vehicle on a bicycle? Because it cannot happen. It's impossible. In New York City's crowded streets, you can certainly follow a cab on a bicycle because traffic moves slowly, bumper to bumper. I should check to see what the speed limit is for driving on the main streets of Manhattan. It's probably no more than 25 to 30 miles per hour. The said photographer who witnessed the chaotic scene also said this, and I'm quoting, "They were heading east on 57th Street and came to a stop at a red light at 8th Avenue. It's 2 lanes of traffic in each direction, and they pulled out onto the opposite side of the road into oncoming traffic, but they got stuck in the middle of the road. It caused absolute chaos." Another photographer told ITV this. Their driver was making it a catastrophic experience. Here's the clip of the photographer's statement.
There was zigzagging, there was cutting off, there was like coming super close to the cars, squeezing, wedging.
After exiting their official vehicle, they entered a random taxi cab that picked them up at the NYPD 19th precinct. That's Harry and Meghan were picked up at the 19th precinct. Sukarn Singh is the name of the driver of the yellow cab they rented for 10 minutes, thereabout. Singh gave a video interview to reporters and British broadcaster Piers Morgan. He said he wasn't apprehensive or anything and that at no time during the short ride was the couple in danger. He said the whole situation was exaggerated by his passengers, Harry and Meghan. Singh said he told the BBC News that after driving 1 block, his taxi got blocked by a garbage truck, and all of a sudden, paparazzi came and started taking pictures. Well, that's what paparazzis do. That's what photographers do. They take pictures. They weren't blocking traffic. They weren't trying to hound Harry and Meghan the way they wanted to make it seem like, as people are saying, they're trying to do, invent or, create a scene of the Diana. They want to do a Diana scene because, for those of you who follow royal news, well, you didn't even have to follow royal news to have heard how Harry's mom, Princess Diana, died in a tragic car crash in 1997. She was being followed relentlessly, pursued by paparazzi when her car ended up crashing and she died. Speaking to the Washington Post, the yellow cabbie said, and that's Mr. Singh said this, and I quote again, "I don't think I would call it a chase. I never felt like I was in danger. It wasn't like a car chase in a movie." The cab driver told NBC in a separate interview, oh yes, he's currently the star of the show. He told NBC his passengers, Harry and Meghan, exaggerated what actually happened. Here is that clip.
Exaggerated and stuff like that, so don't read too much into that. New York City is the safest place to be, right? There's police stations, there's cops on every corner, so there's no need to be afraid in New York.
I think that's all, exaggerated and stuff like that. So don't read too much into that, Wow. How will the Sussexes handle these contradicting recounts of what happened? Is there a motive behind the escalation of events by Harry and Meghan? It's okay to ask, why would Harry and Meghan, with Doria tagging along, go to this length to create a dramatic scene? It seems far-fetched on the surface that they would do such a thing. But desperate times calls for desperate measure. Desperate people do desperate things. Well, Prince Harry could have a motive. That motive could be to gain international police protection status in the US, as some people are thinking might be the motive. Or to get the UK taxpayers to resume paying for him to get security protection in the UK. Harry cannot have his cake and eat it too. He chose to abandon royal duties and flee to the US with Miss Markle. He understood the ramifications and implications of making that decision, yet he chose this route. Now he's feeling the squeeze. He lost the right to police protection in the UK and was not given that privilege by the United States government. Rightly so. He's not an American subject. He's a British subject. He's had to pay his own security since, for the most part, I'm told from news reports, since moving to Montecito, California, he's had to pay for his own security in large part. Security is darn expensive. Private security. My bet is that their money is running out and they are starved for funds. Yeah, you could ask me what happened to the $100 million that they got from Netflix and how many other $1 million they got from Harry's autobiography, Spare. I don't know. They might be living large, The more money people make, the more money they tend to spend. You want to know how some people who have a lot of money, millionaires and billionaires, are in debt. It is possible because the more money people make, the more money they tend to spend. That's just a phenomenon. That's called lifestyle creep. That's another entire episode on Money Matters. The late Queen Elizabeth, Harry's grandmother, and his father, King Charles, have long cut Harry off from the family's wealth after he decided to quit his family and royal duties, and maybe more so after he and his wife, Meghan Markle, decided that they're going to go the tell-all route and gave an interview to Oprah Winfrey in 2021 when the crux of it all was that they were accusing the royal family of not being supportive, and Meghan implied, she really essentially said that a member of the royal family was racist towards her and Archie, her son, questioning what would the color of Archie's skin be. Meghan is biracial, even though she hasn't claimed to be black or biracial most of her life, except when it would benefit her. She, for the most part, identified as Caucasian. All right? But she cried foul. She used the race card, the I am black, I am biracial card, to gain when it was going to work for her. You got it right. That was my oven beeping for attention. I beg your pardon. I never promised you no interruption. But let's get back to Prince Harry, shall we? The wayward Ginger Whinger is now facing the consequences of his action. I bet he didn't think this far down the road when Meghan was pressuring him to flee the UK. Meghan, the social climber, has always been looking after her own interest. She doesn't care for Harry at all, in my opinion. Have you seen Harry lately? Have you seen Harry over the years since he came to the USA? He has not looked himself for years. Harry is an object to be used for Meghan. He's a means to an end. And it's so sad that he is still under the illusion that all of it was out of love. Meghan is narcissistic, and people with narcissistic personalities lack empathy. They lack the ability to love. They are incapable of building healthy emotional connections that lead to genuine love and care. They are more interested in exploiting you for personal gains, whether it's money, sex, social status, fame, or whatever else suits their agenda at the time. Anyway, I digressed. Back to the possible motive behind Harry and Meghan's NYC paparazzi encounter. It was nothing near catastrophic, as they claim in their press statement, and the yellow cab driver is the witness who debunked those claims. He's the closest witness to the event taking place within the short period of their cab ride. That's aside from Doria Ragland and the bodyguard, Meghan and Harry's bodyguard, that was also in the cab at the time. Why in the world would they hop into a random taxi anyway? Were they thinking about their safety? Were they thinking at all before doing something so reckless? They could have placed themselves in grave danger. The whole scenario doesn't seem to add up. And that is another reason why people are thinking there is a larger goal, or that it was planned, and that Harry's trying to obtain international police protection and win his court case for UK taxpayers to pay for his security. He was already denied this, but Harry's arguing before the court through his lawyers that he should be allowed to pay the UK Police Department to protect him and his family when visiting the UK. The case is currently pending. So far, there's no official statement. Moving on, there's no official statement from the royal family or reports that they contacted the Sussexes, at least up to my news time, that they contacted the Sussexes to offer support. The king is likely to be, quote-unquote, the king is likely to be, quote-unquote, decidedly underwhelmed by the whole episode, says royal author Christopher Anderson. He continued by saying, Anderson, that is, everyday superstars, heads of state, celebrities of every variety are driven around Manhattan as a matter of course and without incident. Often they too have to avoid photographers. Annoying, but it's the price one pays for choosing to live one's life in the spotlight. I agree. Offering his opinion on the king's position on Harry's security being paid for by the taxpayers, Anderson said this: Charles believes that as non-working royals, the Sussexes simply aren't entitled to taxpayer-funded royal security. This strange incident isn't going to change that. So, to put it all together, Harry is facing the potential loss of security benefits altogether from the UK, whether paid by taxpayers or by Harry himself. It is possible that the prince then escalated the paparazzi situation and exaggerated what actually happened to gain sympathy from the king and the British public. Could that have been his strategy to win the case for security protection while he's in the UK, and even protection in the USA? Here's my question. Why should British taxpayers pay for security for a prince who willingly abdicated his royal duties to chase after his wife? He doesn't even live in the UK. He's living in a whole other country, and they should pay for his security, whether it's in the UK or the USA. I don't see how that will fly. Why should they be held financially responsible to protect him when he essentially walked away from his family and his country? He didn't even pledge allegiance to the king, to King Charles, his own father, at the coronation. They, the royal family, along with most Brits, no longer want anything to do with the Duke of Sussex, and it's quite obvious. He flew in and he flew out, I think, within 24 hours for the coronation. He did not appear on Buckingham's palace's balcony, as is the tradition for the royal family to be up there. He was not included in that exercise. He was not included in the royal family official coronation photos. Those things speak volume, and he wants the royal family to help him. Well, he is actually paying the price for all that he's done, trashing his own family, joining Meghan Markle to trash his own family, to call them racist, and to accuse his family of abusing Meghan. The issue is not that if these things happen and that's the truth. Let us see the evidence. You just cannot go on a public platform and publicly, globally trash your family and not have any evidence to prove what you're saying. Okay? If he's really afraid for his life and needs protection, he needs to move back to the UK and resume royal duties. Protection by the public isn't a right, it's a privilege. He has to earn it. Like I said, the self-entitled prince wants to eat his cake and still hold on to it. In reality, that can never happen. He has to pick one. Thank you for watching. Please do not leave without subscribing. Thank you. And feel free to share the video or write your views in the comment section below. Let's catch up again soon on True Lies Scandals.